And the Cavaliers coming up on NBA TV, taking a look at the bigger picture of Western Conference standings entering Sunday's action. We know that the Oklahoma City Thunder have separated themselves from the rest of the pack, but really 2 through, what do you want to say, 11? It feels like there are teams that have reason to believe and reason to have concern for many of them. But we take a look at this, and now we say Lakers, you know, they get Luka, but now some injuries. So Luka's going to be out today. Rui Hachimura is out. This is, it's been updated. Austin Reeves is now out tonight against the Clippers. So he is going to be, it feels like day to day. You've heard about this calf injury. We'll see where this leads them. ESPN was reporting that an MRI revealed no serious injury to that calf, which is obviously good news here. But what's your take on what we've seen from the Lakers and you know, right after the trade, everybody's like, all right, it's great you got Luka, but there's no interior defense. All of a sudden, JJ Redick's got these guys playing the best defense they've played all season.
Yeah, and you know, their perimeter defense got better, right? And the excitement around the trade definitely helps. Now, you know, moving forward, you know, when injuries pop up like they're popping up, you know, do they have enough bench strength? Do they have enough, you know, understanding of JJ's system to keep winning and not fall back in the pack? Because, you know, as you can look at the West, you know, you lose 2 games and you can drop, you know, anywhere from, you know, 7 to 10 or 6 to 10. So it's important that they keep winning.
Yeah, it is, because just what Isaiah said, I was looking at it, I said the way the Lakers was going, we were talking like the last 2 games. They were 2 games out of second, you know, as far as they're 37-21, and Denver is 39-21. But they also can drop to 5th because Houston is 37-23. So 2nd to 5th in 2 games is huge for them. And I think what Zeke is saying is, watching the Lakers, they can't have guys even in foul trouble.
Right.
Now we're not even talking about injuries. They have to have this 9-10 rotation. Can't really be in foul trouble. It's putting a lot. I take my hat off to him. I still be like, this is unreal what we're watching with LeBron James having better numbers now than his MVP seasons. He has to do so much.
Yep.
Can he keep this up through 1st, 2nd, 3rd round, Western Conference Finals and the Finals? We shall see, because he's put this team really on his back.
And oh, by the way, the road to close out the season becomes way more difficult. The Lakers have the 4th toughest remaining schedule in the NBA. I mean, they're taking on a Clipper team who's going to be licking their chops to face them, because the Clippers got embarrassed in 3rd place a couple weeks ago against the Lakers. You've got New York, who's playing good basketball, right? You've got Boston, Milwaukee, Denver in there. This is not an easy road. We're going to learn a lot about the Lakers over this 7-game stretch here.
You know what I like? I like the parity in the league. Like, everyone wanted, you know, parity, and now we really do have it. You know, in the East and in the West, you got 9, 10, 11 teams that all on any given night can beat each other. So when you talk about, you know, the 4th hardest schedule, you know, I looked at that Brooklyn team right now. You know, don't be surprised. They can jump up and bite you. You know, so everybody is kind of even right now, and that's good for the league, and I think that's going to be good for the playoffs.
Well, the Phoenix Suns are currently on the outside looking in the 11th spot, not even in the play-in, but they certainly have the opportunity to get there. I want you to hear some interesting sound from Devin Booker the other night. Very top-heavy. But let's talk about some of these other tems. You mentioned Detroit.
I don't care about the top. I'm looking at Detroit.
They're a game and a half, but being in 4th.
Well, I tell you what, all them teams up top, they ain't trying to get Detroit in that 1st round.
Excellent. Well, let's take this conversation right there. You know, we know the 2 teams have separated themselves from the pack, right? We can all admit it's Boston and Cleveland right there. But how realistic is it that this Detroit team, led by a guy like Cade Cunningham, is a team that could give somebody fits in the playoffs?
Well, the style that Boston and Cleveland plays, they're heavy perimeter teams that like to shoot the 3-point shot and depend on that. The defensive style that the Detroit Pistons has is they're good perimeter defenders, and then they got a guy in Cade that you have to put your best defender on Cade. Now, I don't know who that is on Cleveland or Boston that matches up well with Cade. But when you put Brown or Tatum on Cade, now you risk foul trouble. When you put Mitchell on Cade, you risk foul trouble. So they always would try to put a lesser guy on Cade. And when you put a lesser guy on Cade, it's like putting a lesser guy on Smitty at 6'8". Smitty was a 6'8" point guard. When they put a lesser guy on him, oh, it was hell to pay. And that's the same thing with Cade Cunningham.
Detroit, certainly, this is the best year they've had since 2008. It's been fun to watch. How about a team a couple of rungs above them, New York? New York has been great against everybody except for the elite teams. They have not beaten one of the top 3 teams in the NBA yet this year. Take a look, 0-7 against the Cavs, Celtics, and Thunder. So are we blowing this out of proportion, or can the Knicks still be a contender, or are they more of a pretender right now?
Yeah, I think they can be a contender, Jared, because they're getting a guy like Mitchell Robinson back. That definitely helps. Before that is, they were playing against 5 against 30. I mean, Tibbs is going to play 5 guys. And I just thought at times they just are fatigued. They give so much. Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns are 2 guys that's just having phenomenal years. And Karl Anthony Towns could be arguably the best player in the Eastern Conference this season. But who is that third option? And they want it to be Mikal Bridges, but they need this guy. They won't be a scorer. Right. It'll just be the other things, and they need more than 5 guys. They need a rotation of at least 8 to be able to win, because if Karl Anthony Towns before that took a break or was in foul trouble, the drop-off was so much. OG Anunoby was out for just a couple games, then there's a drop-off. They cannot have injuries, so they need Tibbs to trust more guys on the bench and give them a little bit more minutes.
And Josh Hart's dealing with a knee issue that looks like he's going to play through, because you know how difficult he plays. How about the Milwaukee Bucks? Are they a team that has any? They've got Giannis and Dame. Giannis is in the MVP conversation. Can this team, who got off to that start that they got off to, is it possible that they can rebound and become a team that challenges Boston or Cleveland?
Yes, because of the 2 guys you said. They got Giannis and Dame. And those 2 guys, they can show up on any given night and beat you in your building, just those 2 guys alone. But then now you've added Kuzma to the mix, and you've added, Trent Jr. And now you got outside shooting, you got reliable outside shooting, along with Giannis and Dame. And then you got Lopez on any given night. He can dominate a game. So Milwaukee, they definitely can do their thing.
I think it's interesting when you look at those Eastern Conference standings, you got to think about the bracket, right? And the really tough part here is based on where teams are, and certainly things can change over the next several weeks, but the Bucks, if they can get out of the first round, they've got to go and face Cleveland next, right? If New York were to beat Detroit, if that were to be the matchup, the winner of that has to go on and face Boston, right? Like, you're going to get punished in that second